Welcome back to the Morristown Market Report. I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10. Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage is not able to be with us today, so I am flying solo, but I'm really excited about our special guest today. Lisa was my mentor. She was my first broker. We are still really close friends. So this is Lisa McBride. She is the owner, principal broker, and principal auctioneer of United Country Clinch Mountain Real Estate and Auction. Yeah, that's a mouthful. In Bean Station. Welcome, Lisa. We're excited to have you here.
Well, thank you very much for having me today.
You're welcome. All right, so what got you interested in the auction aspect of the business?
So all my young life, my parents enjoyed going to auctions, and so that was kind of a every Saturday kind of thing. We strategically put where the mom was going and my dad was going, and I would go with one or the other. And then when I decided to get my real estate license, I went with another United Country office over in Claiborne County, and they had auctions, and so I performed auctions with them. So it's just kind of a natural progression that when I opened my own office that I would offer the auction services as well.
Okay. So what makes a property a good candidate for an auction?
Well, a lot of times with auctions, selling an estate, sometimes you can't get all the heirs on one page, and that is a good way to liquidate the estate so that it settles it and everybody can move forward with their lives. And a lot of times there are other reasons to have it, but that is one of the biggest reasons is to have it for estates. Another reason would be if somebody is looking to move away and they need to liquidate more quickly. They don't want to wait for it to sell on the market, and then they also want to liquidate all their stuff that they're not going to take with them, and that is a good way of getting that done as well.
Okay. So do you just do real estate auctions, or do you do the personal property? What all do you do?
We will do the personal property. I don't my office doesn't do only personal property. You have to be selling a piece of land, or now we will do an occasional equipment auction, but it has to be enough value to make it worth it to both the seller and my company.
Okay, so you're just saying you don't actively go after doing personal property auctions, but if they're selling the real estate, you will offer that.
That's right.
Okay, and you do the equipment auctions.
Yes, we had. Matter of fact, we just had one Saturday. It was settling an estate, and it was just equipment. It went very well.
Good deal. I used to work for Lisa and had to work the equipment auctions. I do not miss those. I saw in my Facebook memories the other day, it popped up when we had one, and there were like 200 people had registered by the time 10 o'clock ran around, and I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of people. Anyway, so when you go to, somebody calls you for, like, let's say a listing appointment, and you get there and you think that auction is the best way for them to go. Is that a hard conversation to have to try and flip them from listing to auction?
Not really, because I just show them the options. One advantage to an auction is like, let's say for instance it's a farm and you're dividing it into 6 or 7 different parcels. If you are selling it traditionally, you may sell lot 1 and 3 and 5, and then it may be 2 years before you sell 2 and 4 and 6. And with an auction, if time is essential to the seller or preferable to the seller, then you can offer the auction process, because you can say, look, it'll all sell that day, and we'll have a closing in 30 days. Theoretically 30 days. Occasionally it's a little more, but most of the time you can get them closed out in 30 days. If there's a house, if it's a house property, and with a real estate house auction, you don't have to worry about all those contingencies that you're doing with a traditional sale. It's not contingent on financing. It's not contingent on any inspections. It's not contingent on appraisal. When they buy that day, they know they're buying what they see. They're not going to come back next week and say, oh, I want to do a home inspection and ask you for $10,000 worth of repairs.
Right. So there's two different types of auctions. There's an absolute auction and an auction with reserve. So can you explain kind of what the difference in those two are?
Yes, an absolute auction means whatever the highest bid is what it brings. Generally, people love absolute auctions with the thought process of, oh, I'm going to go get a bargain today. But most of the time, especially when you're advertising as an absolute auction, you're going to get plenty of buyers there and it's going to bring market value. The with reserve, it seems to be that we don't get as big a crowd with reserve because in today's world, we only get one Saturday a week. I mean, it's always been that way, but before people didn't mind. Now they strategically plan their Saturdays to spend time with family or go do fun things. And a lot of times an auction is not a fun thing. And
like when you were growing up, that's what you lived to do.
That's what I did, yeah.
Right.
But I've had so many people call me and say, is this an absolute? And let's just say it wasn't. And I'll say no. They say, well, I'm not wasting my time, because they said, well, if they don't get way more than what it's worth, they're not going to let it go anyway, which is not always the case. It's just the fear, and I completely understand the fear of a seller saying, well, okay, I'll sign it up absolute, let it bring what it brings. I know there's a fear, and there would be for me. However, if we market it correctly, it's going to sell.
Right.
Well.
Right. So, given the crazy real estate market we've had the past few years, how did auctions do during that time? Did you see an increase in demand, or did it kind of lull during that period?
It lulled, because in the market that we've been in the last 2 or 3 years, as you know,
it was like an auction anyway.
It really was, yeah. I mean, you're getting 8 and 10 offers in one day. So what's the point in spending the extra money? And because it does cost, advertising to do an auction. And so what's the point in spending that if I can get 10 offers in one day? So it has changed, and it's changing now. It's beginning. We're seeing more people wanting to have auctions because things aren't just flying off the market.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else about auctions that you think we need to know today?
I just encourage everybody to there's auction companies all around, but nobody does it exactly the same. So if that's something that you're looking to do, just be sure to sit down with whomever you're going to be talking to. And I would talk to 2 or 3 different companies and ask them what their advertising is and how that they promote your auctions and what they're going to do for you to get your property to bring the most.
Good deal. All right, so the last question is one that we ask everybody that comes on here, okay? So if you could go back in time and give your 20-year-old self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Get into real estate soon.
Well, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
Well,
some
of those things we don't say on camera, so.
I understand. All right. So I never get to have another realtor on here with me. So if you would kind of tell me, what are your thoughts on the market that we're in right now? Like, what do you foresee happening in 2023?
Well, to be quite honest, the media is what's killing everything now. I mean, it's always just doom and gloom and the world's coming to an end. Here in our area, we still don't have the listings. I mean, there's not enough listings out there to sell, and the ones that are still out there, a lot of them are kind of picked over. So when I put one on the market, I put a double wide on the market on Friday, and I had a contract on it on Saturday. It was a new construction double wide. So people saying, oh, the market's bad, I'm not seeing that. I don't know about
Well,
you.
that's great, because that's what I normally say every week when we're on here. Is I'm like, I know the media says da 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 da, but here we're not really seeing that. So I think it helps to kind of get that reiterated from another viewpoint, that we just don't have enough houses to sell.
That's right.
So, and I think you made a good point about the ones that you see on the market that have been out there for 60, 90 days. Either they're like 500,000 or up, which is a luxury home here in our area, and those are going to sit on the market a little longer,
Sure.
especially in this kind of a rate environment. But a lot of times they're just overpriced. Do you not think so?
Absolutely.
Like the agents put them on at a price they could have gotten 2021, and they're not going to get that
anymore.
now.
Yeah. And it's went from the multiple 10, 12 offers in 12-hour period to maybe it'll stay on the market a week or two. And you may have to negotiate down, just a little instead of getting the above asking. But it's not anywhere near what the media tries to tell you of it being bad. Not here. I don't know about anywhere else.
Right. All right. So I did have Kim to send me current rates, because we have been seeing a decrease in the rates over the past week. So she said that a FHA 30-year fixed right now is running 5.625%. We've not seen a 5.625 in about 6 months. Okay. So if you're a first-time home buyer, or if you're a repeat buyer, an FHA program is a great way to get into a house, because it only requires a 3.5% down payment. So rate on that right now is 5.625. The 30-year conventional rates, and again, I'll give Kim's disclaimer that it's going to depend on your credit score, how much you're borrowing, how much down payment you have, but generally they're running about 6.25 right now. And then THDA is doing the 5.5%. So a lot of really good options out there right now for the buyers if you're looking to get, into a house this year. Since we are in a new month, we're in the month of April, I'll go over the sold stats for you for Hamlin County for March. We had 46 homes sold, which I'm going to be honest, shocked me a little bit. I figured that number would be higher.
Me too.
I compared it to March of 2022. There were 75 homes that sold last year. So 46 is down a little bit. I do think part of that is because of the inventory not being there. The average home sales price for March was $247,192. 63 days was the average time on the market. The average price per square foot was $146, and then the list to sale price ratio was 97.84. So that takes into account what Lisa was saying about you're going to have to negotiate on your price a little bit. You may be giving that up in concessions to the buyer, in repairs, but people, for the most part in March, we're not getting full list price for their house. Right now in Hamlin County, we have 138 homes on the market. If I take out the new constructions, we are down to 69 homes. So half of those are new construction homes. And the average, this is what I found interesting. The average sales price is $247,000. The average list price for all the homes on the market right now is $366,000.
Oh, wow.
So that tells you you've got some higher priced inventory sitting out there. And without the new construction homes, the average list price is $393,000. So that tells you all you need to know. In the past 7 days, we've had 17 homes go on the market in Hamlin County. 6 of those are already under contract within a 7-day time frame. So like Lisa said, like I try to say every week, the market around here is still moving good. If you price your home correctly, you market it correctly, you're still going to get it under contract fairly quickly.
That's true.
All right. Well, I'm so glad you were here. It's good.
Well, thank
good
you
to
for
see
having
you.
me. It's good to see you.
And we will be back next Wednesday. Thank you.